Well, there's no more of them, number one. I mean, there'll never be another 63 Dodge or a 65 Chevelle or whatever. There's no more of them. But this is kind of like Fantasyland here, too. I mean, I don't know if this is the real world or not, just to be very honest with you.
Boyd Coddington was a titan of custom cars, whose creations redefined an entire industry. But what happens when the master suddenly vanishes, and his world-famous garage, a sanctuary of automotive artistry, is sealed shut? For years, whispers circulated, myths grew. Today, we crack open those doors, and what was found inside will absolutely shock you. We're going to peel back the layers of a truly iconic figure, revealing the dramatic, often heartbreaking, and ultimately astonishing truth of what happened when the world finally got a glimpse inside Boyd Coddington's legendary garage. How Boyd Coddington revolutionized hot rods. Before the world knew him as the King of Hot Rods, Boyd Coddington was a young man forged in the crucible of rural Idaho. This wasn't some fancy place filled with shiny showrooms or high-end custom shops. It was a world where people made do with what they had. Creativity wasn't about style, it was about survival and getting things done. Growing up in this kind of setting, far from the big car cities, helped shape his natural talent for building and fixing things. It taught him to think outside the box and to work with his hands. In Idaho, long before the world ever knew his name, he started learning the skills and developing the vision that would one day take him global. His fascination with cars ignited at a tender age, perfectly coinciding with the post-war American boom that saw hot rods explode onto the cultural scene. These were more than vehicles. They were symbols of freedom, speed, and individuality. By the late 1960s, armed with a collection of machine tools, Boyd made the pilgrimage to California, the undisputed heartland of custom car culture. His journey began with a machinist job at Disneyland, a seemingly ordinary start for an extraordinary talent. Yet, this stable employment was a strategic move, providing him with the crucial daytime hours to dedicate himself to his true passion, meticulously crafting hot rods in the humble backyard shop of his Cypress home. This period, where he balanced a steady paycheck with his burgeoning artistic endeavors, revealed a profound discipline, laying the groundwork for the revolutionary designs that would soon bear his name. The ability to seamlessly integrate the structured world of Disneyland with the gritty, hands-on work of hot rod building demonstrated an early mastery of balancing practical demands with boundless creative ambition. The Boyd look soon became a style, but beyond that, it was a seismic shift in automotive design. Before Boyd burst onto the scene, hot rods were often perceived as disparate, old bodies dropped on late-model chassis, or simply jalopies. They were functional, yes, but lacked a cohesive, artistic vision. Boyd's approach was fundamentally different. His Boyd look was characterized by its smooth, sleek, and fluid lines, a deliberate removal of what he called the hiccups that plagued earlier designs. These weren't merely aesthetic enhancements. His cars were meticulously thought out and engineered from the ground up, transforming customization into a high art form. This meticulous attention to detail and engineering precision set a new standard, elevating the entire hot rod industry. A true turning point, and perhaps his most profound innovation, was his pioneering use of billet aluminum. Frustrated by the limitations of available parts, Boyd, alongside his machining wizard and longtime friend Lil John Butera, began to machine their own components from solid blocks of aluminum, commonly known as billets. What started with seemingly simple items like mirrors quickly escalated to a vast array of custom parts, including what many believe were the very first one-off billet wheels. This wasn't just about finding a new material. It represented a complete paradigm shift in how hot rods were conceived and constructed. It moved the craft from an assemblage of existing components to a bespoke art form where every part was fabricated specifically for the vehicle. emphasizing unparalleled design and precision engineering. This billet craze rapidly swept across America, catapulting Boyd Coddington into a household name. His shop, Hot Rods by Boyd, built award-winning hot rods and simultaneously launched the world's first made-to-order custom wheel business in the late 1970s, forever intertwining his name with innovation in custom automotive parts. Boyd's influence extended far beyond the gleaming chrome and flawless paint of his own builds. He was a mentor, a teacher, and a patriarch of the custom car world. Future legends like Chip Foose, who would go on to achieve immense fame in his own right, honed his craft as an apprentice under Boyd's tutelage and even designed some of Coddington's signature cars. Jesse James, another prominent figure in the custom scene, also received his foundational education from Boyd. This ripple effect of Boyd's genius showed his role as a foundational figure who not only innovated but also disseminated knowledge, raising the bar for an entire generation of custom builders. His shop became a fertile ground for talent, ensuring that his unique style and meticulous techniques would live on through the hands and minds he trained. Today, his middle son, Chris, proudly carries on his father's legacy, continuing to craft exquisite custom aluminum wheels under the HRBB brand, a direct continuation of the pioneering spirit Boyd instilled. But even the most brilliant minds can't outrun fate. Boyd Coddington built an empire. But what happens when the hands that shaped automotive art are suddenly stilled? The unforeseen end, Boyd's sudden passing, and a stunned industry. The steady buzz of grinders and the strong smell of fresh paint that once filled Boyd Coddington's famous garage came to a sudden stop on February 27, 2008. The hot rod world, built on hard work, passion, and sharp attention to detail, was hit hard by heartbreaking news. Boyd Coddington, often called the king of hot rods, had passed away at just 63 years old. His death was sudden and unexpected, sending shockwaves through the custom car community. It was more than just the loss of a legend. It was the loss of a man who had shaped an entire industry. His publicist later revealed the heartbreaking details. Boyd, a longtime diabetic, had succumbed to complications stemming from a surgery for a perforated colon, further exacerbated by sepsis and kidney complications. What made the tragedy even more touching was the initial prognosis of a complete recovery. This cruel twist of fate, the sudden and rapid deterioration of his health, despite hopeful expectations, amplified the sense of loss and disbelief across the world. His departure created an immediate and immense void, not just within his company, but in the collective consciousness of the hot rod community, leaving everyone stunned and uncertain about the future of custom automotive artistry. The death of its visionary founder brought the thriving Coddington empire to an abrupt and jarring halt. The popular TLC, later Discovery Channel series, American Hot Rod, which had brought Boyd's genius into millions of homes, immediately ceased production. Producers concluded, quite accurately, that the show would never be the same without Boyd at its helm. His magnetic, albeit sometimes controversial presence was irreplaceable. In the wake of this profound loss, Boyd's wife, Jo Coddington, tried to keep the sprawling businesses afloat. It was an unenviable task, a challenge to fill her husband's rather large shoes. With the dedicated team of machinists, fabricators, and paint and body specialists still by her side, she managed both the hot rod shop and the lucrative custom wheel business. However, the weight of responsibility coupled with the absence of Boyd's singular creative force and leadership proved to be too much to handle on her own. The Hot Rods by Boyd shop, the very heart of his custom car creations, officially closed its doors permanently on June 20, 2008, a mere 4 months after Boyd's passing. This closure wasn't just a business failure, it was a revelation of the irreplaceable nature of Boyd's unique vision and personal drive. The physical manifestation of his dream, The very place where automotive masterpieces were born could not continue without the master himself. While the hot rod shop ceased operations, the custom wheel business, his earlier innovation, did manage to continue under Joe's management, with his middle son, Chris, proudly carrying on that specific aspect of the family legacy. Even before Boyd's untimely death, there were whispers of change within his ranks. Some employees, recognizing the shifting landscape or perhaps seeking their own creative independence, were reportedly migrating to Foos, referring to Chip Foos, his former apprentice, who had established his own highly successful custom car enterprise. After the Coddington garage closed, this dispersal of talent accelerated. Former Boyd Coddington employees, imbued with his techniques and driven by their own ambition, stepped up to forge new paths. Dan Sobieski, a longtime fabricator who had honed his skills under Boyd, opened his own shop in Anaheim, taking some of the former Coddington team with him. Similarly, Abraham Rodriguez, a specialist in paint and bodywork, also established his own shop, capable of delivering the same high-caliber work that was once the hallmark of the Coddington garage. This exodus and subsequent rise of independent ventures marked the end of Boyd's centralized empire, but it also showed the profound impact of his mentorship. His garage, in essence, became a breeding ground for future masters, ensuring that his distinctive style and meticulous techniques would live on, even if his specific shop did not. With the master gone and the doors to his legendary garage finally sealed, what truly lay hidden within those hallowed walls? What became of the dreams, the metal, the chrome, and the raw power that Boyd had poured his life into? The ghostly inventory, unfinished dreams, and hidden treasures. When Boyd Coddington's hot rod shop officially shut its doors in June 2008, it wasn't just the end of a business, it felt like time had stopped. The place still smelled like gas and fresh paint, and the air felt heavy, almost like his presence was still there. It was as if the shop had been paused mid-sentence, right in the middle of telling an incredible story. Inside, there were unfinished cars, piles of custom parts, and tools made just for his projects. Each piece quietly told its own story of hard work, talent, and big dreams that would never be fully realized. The number of unfinished builds made it clear how much Boyd had been working on before he passed. Many of these cars had to be carefully moved to new shops run by his former crew, showing just how big and bold his plans were. One of the most striking finds inside the quiet, dust-settled garage was a collection that stopped hot rod lovers in their tracks. Among the most significant and captivating discoveries were several incomplete 1940 Ford Customs, a sleek coupe, a stylish convertible, and a classic station wagon, affectionately known as a Woody. These were rolling stock, already mounted on custom frames, with substantial mechanical and fabrication upgrades well underway. They offered a tantalizing glimpse into the early stages of the iconic Boyd look, showcasing the meticulous planning and innovative engineering that went into every project. Each unfinished line, every partially sculpted panel, whispered of the master's touch, even in its nascent form. But perhaps the most crucial unfinished project, a true automotive ghost, was the Delahaye-inspired French Connection Roadster. This magnificent 1938 Lincoln was destined to be Boyd's final masterpiece, a custom build conceived from the ground up. It was powered by an exotic 12.8-liter V12 Italian marine engine, a testament to his audacious vision, and featured a meticulously handcrafted steel and aluminum body by the legendary Marcel and Sons. This car was reportedly completed by the shop while Boyd was hospitalized, just days before his death. The photos of the finished car brought a rare and genuine smile to his face, a final moment of artistic satisfaction amidst his fading health. Another remarkable work in progress was the 1940 Ford Coddington Custom Convertible, a one-of-a-kind creation and the sister to his already iconic 40 Ford Coupe. This vehicle, too, was later brought to completion by Hot Rod Investments of Arizona, working in close consultation with Boyd's wife, Jo, and his sons, Boyd Jr. and Chris, ensuring that the final product honored his original design. The quiet presence of these half-finished beauties raised a big question in the hot rod world. Should someone else finish what Boyd started, or should they stay exactly as he left them, frozen in time? The answer came quickly. Even in their rough, unfinished form, these cars were worth a lot. Why? Because they carried Boyd Coddington's name, a name that alone added serious value. Experts and fans argued that if trusted shops took on these builds and followed Boyd's original vision closely, the finished cars could be worth even more. We're talking major jumps in price, turning them into tributes to his incredible talent. But it wasn't just about money. These cars represented something deeper. This collection of unfinished cars wasn't just metal and bolts. It was packed with potential, both as art and as investment. And it sparked deep conversations in the custom car world about what makes something truly authentic. The debate showed just how much the Boyd look still meant, even after he was gone. Each car was like a blank canvas left behind by a master artist, waiting for the right hands to finish the masterpiece. And once these rare projects started hitting the auction block, the results were jaw-dropping, unveiling the garage's most shocking sales. With the doors to Boyd Coddington's legendary hot rod shop closed, the inevitable next chapter began: the liquidation. This wasn't just any sale. It was the slow and emotional process of breaking down a legend's world piece by piece. The public got a rare, up-close look at the private side of Boyd's creative life. Everything went up for auction, from his most iconic custom cars to the small personal tools he used every day. But it was less about the sale and more about watching a part of hot rod history being carefully taken apart in front of everyone. The auction stage became the last spotlight for Boyd's collection. It was both sad and powerful. People weren't just bidding on machines or gear. They were bidding on the dreams and hard work of a man who changed the custom car world. Watching his life's work get sold off was tough for many, but at the same time, it showed that the value of Boyd's brand didn't die with him. If anything, the auction proved how much people respected his vision, how much they wanted to hold on to a piece of it. The sales extended far beyond the iconic custom cars. The auction included a fascinating array of items, from limited edition memorabilia like the highly sought-after Boyd Coddington Beach Cruiser, one of only 300 ever made, to various custom wheels, instructional books, and even collectible Hot Wheels models of his famous creations. This incredible diversity of items, ranging from multi-million-dollar vehicles to small, mass-produced toys, vividly reflected the broad and pervasive reach of Boyd's influence across popular culture and the automotive enthusiast community. The decision to complete Boyd's unfinished projects proved to be not just an artistic triumph, but an incredibly lucrative one, validating the enduring power of his visionary designs. The 1940 Ford Coddington pickup, which had been initially chopped and loosely mocked up by Boyd's own shop before his death, was meticulously brought to life by Squeege's Customs in Arizona. This transformation was nothing short of spectacular. It featured a powerful 560-horsepower Roush 427 IR crate engine, a smooth Tremec 5-speed transmission, a custom-stitched leather interior by Gabe's Custom Upholstery, and extensive chrome and billet work, all while maintaining a street-friendly demeanor. This stunning pickup, a true show-winning masterpiece, commanded a staggering $374,000 at Barrett-Jackson in 2015. Similarly, the 1940 Ford Coddington Custom Convertible, a one-of-a-kind work in progress and the sister to his iconic 40 Ford Coupe, was painstakingly finished by Hot Rod Investments of Arizona in collaboration with Boyd's wife Jo and his sons Boyd Jr. and Chris. This convertible featured a unique hand-formed aluminum removable hardtop crafted by Marcel Delay and Sons, and crucially, original Boyd Coddington 17-inch billet wheels, which are no longer produced, adding immensely to their rarity and value. This breathtaking convertible sold for a remarkable $88,000 at Barrett-Jackson in March 2021. Even other incomplete 1940 Ford Customs sold in their raw state fetched significant sums. A coupe went for $57,200 and a Woody wagon for $81,400. The sky-high prices these once-abandoned builds pulled in revealed that even when unfinished, Boyd Coddington's ideas were worth a fortune. His early vision, sketched out in raw metal and parts, already held real value. And when skilled builders stepped in to complete them, they didn't just finish a job, they brought Boyd's ideas to life. What started as potential became fully realized dream cars, now in high demand. These sales confirmed that the Boyd look was timeless. His designs still turned heads and opened wallets, even after he was gone and his shop had shut its doors. But if someone else completes a car, Boyd started. Is it still a Boyd Coddington car? If you change every part of something over time, is it still the same thing? That's for you to ponder upon, but at the end of the day, what matters is that Boyd's vision led the way. But there's more to Boyd Coddington's story than success and legacy. What secrets did the king of hot rods try to keep hidden? And how did they shape his enduring, complicated legacy? The unseen scars, controversies, and complex legacy. Even the brightest stars cast long shadows, and Boyd Coddington, for all his undeniable brilliance, was no exception. His later years were marked by controversies that revealed a complex, often surprising side of the hot rod legend. These weren't just minor bumps in the road, they were significant challenges that forced the industry and the public to look beyond the gleaming chrome and flawless paint. In April 2005, Boyd Coddington faced a legal storm that sent ripples of shock and debate throughout the custom car world. He pleaded guilty to registering custom-fabricated cars as antiques. The astonishing purpose behind this maneuver was to evade emissions and taxation laws. California officials, renowned for their strict regulations, deemed this a ship of Theseus fraud, directly challenging the very identity of his creations. Boyd Coddington's shop had earlier hit a major rough patch in 1998, when a single customer's bankruptcy left him staring down a $400,605,000 loss. That kind of financial blow would force anyone to make tough choices, and for Boyd, it meant shaking things up. He restructured the business and brought in his oldest son, Boyd Coddington Jr., as a partner to help steer the ship. The hot rodding world was built on creativity and craftsmanship. Guys piecing together one-of-a-kind rides from scratch, mixing custom parts with raw ingenuity. So when legal and ethical debates started swirling around his practices in 2005, it didn't just ruffle feathers. It made people question what a true hot rod even was. For Boyd, whose reputation was all about innovation and authenticity, the whole mess put his entire philosophy to the test. Boyd was famous for using billet aluminum and making custom parts that changed the whole look of a car. That's part of what made him great. But the same creativity that made him a legend also ended up clashing with rules and regulations. This made the car world stop and think, what does it really mean for a build to be original? What makes something authentic when nearly every part is custom? The answers weren't clear. But the legal battles were only part of the storm Boyd had to weather. Boyd's reality show, American Hot Rod, which brought his shop and his genius to millions of homes, began to face criticism. While it showed the world how much detail, work, and passion went into every build, there was another side to it. A lot of viewers noticed something unsettling. On screen, Boyd came off as cold, sometimes even harsh. Some critics said he seemed cruel to his ex-wife and son, and that he didn't treat his workers well. The show often painted him as a demanding boss who lost his temper, yelled, or fired people without hesitation. Whether those moments were real or just edited to stir drama, they stuck. Many fans and insiders began to wonder if the show had gone too far. Was it helping Boyd's legacy or hurting it? Some argued it had turned hot rodding into a flashy business, stripping away the raw, DIY spirit that once defined the scene. Others believed the show focused too much on fights and not enough on the cars. The biggest question was the Boyd we saw on TV the real Boyd, or was he just edited that way for ratings? It was hard to say. What was clear, though, is that the show created a gap between his brilliant work and the rough way he sometimes treated the people around him. It made fans and critics wonder if the greatness of his builds could be separated from the way he led his team. But behind all the cameras, cars, and controversy, Boyd Coddington was a real person. He wasn't just a brand or a boss. He was someone dealing with serious health issues, especially his long battle with diabetes. The stress of running a busy shop, making top-level cars, and staying in the spotlight surely wore him down. Fame can be exciting, but it's also a heavy load to carry. So, what does it all mean for the future of custom cars? And how does Boyd's enduring influence, despite the controversies and challenges, continue to shape the industry today? The roar of his engines may have faded, but his legacy echoes louder than ever. Boyd Coddington's immortal influence. The physical presence of Boyd Coddington may have departed, and the doors to his original garage may be sealed, but the roar of his influence continues to reverberate through the custom car world, louder and more powerfully than ever before. His legacy is not confined to static museum pieces or auction results. It lives and breathes in every meticulously crafted hot rod and custom wheel produced today. Boyd Coddington's distinctive, smooth, sleek, and fluid design philosophy, universally recognized as the Boyd look, remains an industry baseline. It is continuously copied, adapted, and admired over 30 years after its inception, a testament to its timeless aesthetic and foundational impact on automotive design. His pioneering work with billet aluminum wheels didn't just introduce a new product. It fundamentally transformed the aftermarket industry, making the term billet synonymous with high-quality, custom components in car circles. This innovation was so profound that it set a new standard for precision and artistry in wheel manufacturing. Today, his middle son, Chris, proudly carries on this specific aspect of the legacy, meticulously crafting custom aluminum wheels under the HRBB brand. This ensures that the Boyd name remains synonymous with cutting-edge quality and innovation in the custom wheel market, a direct continuation of his father's visionary spirit. The continued relevance of the Boyd look and the ongoing production of his wheels by his son demonstrate that his influence transcends his physical presence and even the closure of his original shop. This validates the timelessness and foundational nature of his design principles, proving that his aesthetic became an industry standard, a true mark of a visionary whose impact is still seen on roads and at car shows today. Boyd Coddington set the standard, and that helped him win the prestigious America's Most Beautiful Roadster Award at the Grand National Roadster Show an incredible 7 times, a record that still stands tall today. Boyd's son, Boyd Coddington Jr., later shed light on something that most people outside the industry rarely realize. He explained that building classic cars isn't always about making a profit. Most people don't understand that 90% of the time when you build those cars, they don't make any money, he said. And that's the truth behind many of these builds. It's about love, not the paycheck. Each car they worked on was fueled by pure passion. Whether it was a full restoration or a custom build from the ground up, the drive was always the same, creating something beautiful, unique, and timeless. These cars weren't rushed out for quick sales or mass production. They were crafted with care, often taking months or even years to complete. That 1940 pickup is just one example of how a Boyd-inspired build could pass through different hands and still carry the heart of its original vision. It shows how his style and influence lived on even after his passing through others who respected his legacy and took great care in finishing what he started. And maybe that's what made Boyd's work so special. It wasn't just about horsepower or polish. It was about heart. It was about building something that meant something, even if the reward wasn't a check, but simply the joy of creating something extraordinary. The individuals who trained under Boyd have carried forward and evolved the craft that Boyd had elevated, each adding their unique touch to the foundation he provided. Boyd's legacy, therefore, isn't just about the incredible cars he built, it's about the entire ecosystem he helped create and the invaluable human capital he developed. By inspiring and training a new generation of master builders, he became a true patriarch of modern hot rodding, whose influence is subtly yet undeniably seen in countless garages and custom shops worldwide. Boyd Coddington's creations have transcended mere vehicles to become legitimate works of art and cultural artifacts. His cars are cherished worldwide by discerning collectors for their unique individuality, groundbreaking design, and impeccable craftsmanship. They have been honored with inclusion in prestigious museums and featured prominently in industry retrospectives, solidifying their place not just as automobiles, but as significant pieces of American design history. Beyond the elite collector's market, Boyd's name and designs continue to resonate in popular culture. Memorabilia, detailed instructional books on hot rod building, and even miniature Hot Wheels versions of his most famous builds are still widely sold. The true discovery isn't merely the abandoned masterpieces, the silent tools, or the ghostly echoes of a life dedicated to unparalleled craft. It's realization that even in death, Boyd Coddington's audacious vision, his relentless innovation, and his complex, sometimes controversial spirit continue to roar through the very veins of every custom car built today. His garage may have closed, and his physical presence may be gone, but his legacy is an open road, stretching endlessly into the future. What lost piece of hot rod history do you think is still out there, waiting to be found? Could this discovery change hot rod history forever, or was it meant to stay buried? Leave your answers in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.